Welcome in. It is a Friday, Harry.
Veterans Day.
It is Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day to everybody who served, and we appreciate your service to this great country.
We sure do. And anybody who's serving right now, thank you, because you soon will be a veteran, and when your time is done. So we thank everybody who has, all the way back. It doesn't matter what war you go back to. Right? Doesn't matter what's your first war, right? Like, doesn't matter how far you go back. We appreciate you, every single one of you out there. Thank you, Harry, for bringing that up first and foremost. I don't know what's going on. Last night I got kicked in the absolute teeth, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to compensate and be a little Josh Giddey this morning.
Well, explain what happened last night, because I did not get involved.
Matt Cherico is here. Devin's off. She's on the road. So if she will get her plays in. And then also Harry Mays, of course, is here. Like he's always here, which is good because we love Harry. Last night, the Atlanta Falcons did me in. Now, I didn't have a ton going on, but I mean, I'll just give it to you. I'll give it to you straight, Harry. All right. Atlanta -2.5. No. Let's keep it moving here. A couple of others, right? Atlanta -150 on the money line. No. Atlanta D special teams, 1 touchdown. Now, that was only $25. That's down the drain. $10 for them to score 2 down the drain. How about Atlanta first half money line parlayed with the under 22.5 first half money line? Same game parlay. No. How about Atlanta plus 230 live? No. How about under 34.5 live?
Oh,
no.
Killer.
No. Harry, Matt, I did not hit one fucking bet in that Thursday night football game last night.
Well, you know what?
Higher or mid.
It serves you right for getting that heavily invested in that donkey show on Amazon last night. I mean, Jesus, even Al Michaels didn't even want to be there.
Exactly.
He has had it.
Sounded like that.
He has really had it. He's done with this shitty schedule that he's been dealt with. And I feel for the guy. I mean, he's what, 77 years old? He's a freaking legend. And here he is calling D-level Fox games. Like Chris Myers gets better games than Al Michaels has had over the last couple of weeks. It's a disgrace.
What is he,
fucking Spiro Ditas all of a sudden for CBS? It's a joke.
Spiro Ditas? Why did he agree to do that?
I don't know.
It's got to come down to Jeff Bezos, right? Like giving him that Thursday night on Prime, just here, take everything I have, and just I don't care how bad these games are, come announce.
Terrible.
So. Look, I think Amazon, I'm going to give Amazon a benefit here and say that they're going to do something that the Fox or the other networks couldn't do. Just give them a year or so, because it's Amazon. Like, they have free. But you're right. Like, at some point, you keep putting lipstick on this peg, as Rob Ellis would say. All right. Oh my God! Can we get the hell away? Get the hell away!
It doesn't even make sense because it was raining too, and we talked about how heavily the rushing props would fit in, and even with the rain, none of them hit still. It was nasty business all around.
I got to give a shout to a couple of our guys, Bloomfield, who knocked, and I saw this on the Odd Shopper Discord. So he knocked down a couple of these kicking props. I abstained, and I got a text from our favorite greensman, Colin Berger.
Oh, yeah.
Mentioning about the weather and the wind, as Cherico just mentioned, like this heavy wind is supposed to be torrential and all this stuff. So I didn't play one kicking prop. I stayed away. Granted, if I had, I'm always over on all this stuff. And I'm thinking back like,
right.
Yep. I hopped on Eddie Pinheiro and his over 5.5. So I was able to hop in there. But otherwise,
a meaningless kick at the end.
Yeah. Well, they also missed 3 extra points in that game that would have taken it over the total, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Younghoe Koo missed one, and then
he missed 2. He missed 2.
Yeah.
Koo missed 2.
Hey, 2 for Koo.
And Eddie Pinheiro, doesn't he sound like a jockey?
Yeah, I think he sounds more like a guy that would be in like a
bull riding type of thing.
Jason Martinez band, right? Like, do you remember when Metallica did that one show and Smoke Shack came out, and like Smoke Shack had that guy Eddie Pinheiro playing the bass? That's who I like. Eddie Pinheiro. I think of a guy who looks like Sal Fasano, who plays heavy bass on like one of these death metal
groups. It has like a big goatee, like a long goatee. Maybe it's braided.
I was going to say a braid at the end. Yeah. Little fishtail going on.
Yeah, and like the third guy from Pantera created this group.
Right.
Like it's one of these groups.
Right.
And Martinez
after
is all
Dimebag Darrell got shot and died. This guy, formed this other band, Pinheiro.
And he stepped in. Yeah,
I like that.
All right. Now
Kevin Kincaid would listen to him too.
He would. Although I heard he sold his drum set. That sellout.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's got too many kids going on here. He got too many kids.
Well, he's full suburban now, man. He got rid of the drum kit.
No, it's terrible. By the way, I got my ass kicked in the NBA last night. I even threw a live Flyers play.
Oh.
And that got smoked out of the building. So here's what I'm saying is it can only get better.
Right.
From yesterday.
Right.
All right.
It has to.
Let's look at this here. Let's hit the Eagles game first, because we're going to have another opportunity to talk about it. So I don't want to pressure anybody whatsoever into doing this. My play right now is wait, because here's the thing. It's 11. I think, what do you think the tipping point's going to be? 13 maybe? Like, do you think we can get this to 12.5? Because I think 12.5 would be a bettable number where it's not like I wouldn't take 11 now, but I think we can wait. People are going to continue to bet the Eagles. I think Super Sharp's going to have to move it. And I think the people that are smarter than us are waiting for people to continue to move, continue to pour money in.
Oh, yeah, and then you'll get buyback on Washington.
Yeah, and I want to get that before the buyback happens. So, look, if the buyback happens at 11 and I miss 11, okay, it's not the end of the world. But I wonder, what do you think? Like, how far do you think this line can steam in Washington's favor?
I don't think it's going to get this high, but I'd say 12.5.
I was going to say the same thing.
Don't you have to bet Washington 12.5 at this point?
Yeah, at that point, yeah, I think you would.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke's just looked too, I hate to say it, but good. I mean, it looks like he actually has some type of control over that offense, and he doesn't get as flustered or as pressured the same way that we see these other young, second string quarterbacks come in and the game just moves so fast for them. He kind of is able to slow things down a little bit, and he's obviously better than Carson Wentz. So
yeah, he really is. And they're talking about Carson Wentz coming back. I'm like, why? Ugh. What for? I'd rather see, if I'm a Washington fan, I'd rather see Sam Howell get a shot.
Yeah. Seriously.
As the quarterback.
I'd rather see Carson Walsh. What the hell was that guy's name? That coach here for the Eagles? Remember that guy? Is Carson, it was like Walsh?
No, I don't remember him.
And I put out a tweet. This is back when I was like, active.
Right.
And I put out a tweet, and it was like, obvious fake quote, because they fired that guy, Carson something. Walt, is that what it is? Carson Walt? Whatever.
I'm not sure.
And I put the quote out, and it was like, there's only room for one guy in this building named Carson, and it was Carson Wentz.
And people believed it.
People were like, I can't believe, and it wasn't attacking me, it was him.
Right.
That asshole, he's so self-centered.
I remember when you used to put those fake tweets out.
Oh, man.
I'm verified, by the way, bona fide and certified now on Twitter.
How'd you get that?
I just paid for it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
I'm going to do it too. Now, did you have to do it on the Apple?
You have to do it on your phone. Like, it won't work on your desktop or whatever else.
They actually took away the tab to upgrade to Twitter Blue is completely gone now today.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I got in yesterday, and I was actually having trouble, so I tweeted Elon Musk and said, what's going on back there? And I gave him a screenshot of the message that I kept on getting saying it wasn't available. Yeah. And 2 hours later, it was fixed, and boom, I'm on.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I'm going to do it and just post my stuff.
I'm just hoping more people see the stuff that I post. That's all.
Yeah.
Who knows? Good for you, Harry. I appreciate you coming out and letting us know that we can get it. I have a Droid, and mine says that I can only get on via the iOS app.
Yeah, I think it's just Apple right now.
So I'm going to have to get on one of these pads. One of these pads. All right, let's give a bet or two out. What do you say?
All right, you talk about the Eagles game. I'm on over 44. It's just a hunch, and I'm sticking with it. That's all I've got right now. Monday we'll have props and so forth for that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Eagles-wise, I'm probably going to go. I've been really liking first half spreads, if anything. Yeah. So I like Eagles -6 right now when it's talking strictly just the first half. I think if the Commanders are going to keep it close, it's going to come in that third or fourth quarter, maybe some garbage time. They just sneak in a little backdoor cover. But I like -6 right now for the first half.
Absolutely. I think, as Harry said, let's see what happens, because everything that we just talked about from Matt to where I began and Harry in between, it's going to move. Like if this line goes from 11 to 12.5, first half numbers are going to move, totals are going to move, like things are going to move, even if it's only a half a point for a total or two. Only saying out there, if you're watching this on Friday, Saturday, you don't have to jump in this thing even Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's bounce around here. I'll start, right? Top two,
right.
3, whatever you like here. Let's stay in the NFL since we opened up with the Philadelphia Eagles. There are 2 games that absolutely jump out to me. The first is the London game. And I know it like Seattle.
Germany, Munich.
Oh, Germany. Pardon me.
Munich.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The only metrics we have are London. So I'm going to basically say that traveling across to Europe is the same here. Doesn't matter if it's London or Munich. Seattle left on Wednesday. They left immediately after practice. They're already there. We're doing the show Friday morning. They're already there. They've settled in full on.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay left sometime last night and is still in transit as we speak. So there's just a little bit of a slight advantage of getting there just a little bit earlier, right? And here's the thing. This is something that was pointed out. Teams that arrive in London earlier, and I'm using London, not Munich, earlier in the week, giving themselves a little bit more time, perform better in the second half than teams late. Seattle only has 1 day, but while it's not there, you still have to look at fact getting in there. Natural grass, all right? I don't want to go tennis on you here, but I am, all right? Roland Garros.
No, that's clay.
I know. Natural grass. It's the only one I could do with a Russo voice.
Oh, okay.
All right. Tom Brady is 17-21-1 against the spread since 2016 on natural grass, including 0-2 straight up against the spread in recent games on grass against both Pittsburgh and Carolina. All right. And I just mentioned before the show here that maybe Brady's head is spinning because not only did he just get divorced to the most famous person in his family, but he also lost like $50 million in a Bitcoin scheme. So I'll take the team that has been proven to be focused all year in Seattle versus the team that's dealing with distraction. So I have Seattle on the money line. I have Seattle first half money line. I push Seattle on a teaser up to +8.
Yeah, I have Seattle in a teaser at +8.5. And I took that along with Denver. I moved Denver to +9 as they go on the road to take Tennessee.
Yeah, there's just no reason to bet against Seattle right now. I mean, seeing what Geno Smith has going on over there and the way Pete Carroll's actually kind of playing everybody to their strengths, it's really impressive, honestly. I mean, everybody the same, like the quote is so true. Everybody wrote Geno Smith off, but he didn't write back. So
I love that.
It's exciting to see, and I'm on Seattle all the way, especially in Munich.
Yeah.
All right, Harry.
With the teaser, I just included Seattle +8.5 along with Denver at +9.
Did you play anything else across the board?
With the NFL?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a teaser partner with the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to move the Chiefs down to 3. Any suggestions?
Absolutely. So you want to move the Chiefs down to 3. They're at 9.5, right?
Okay. I saw it at 9 this morning.
Okay, that's fine. So you need a 6-point teaser, right? Yep. So the first thing I would do is look now, and again, it's at 5.5, 6, depending on where it is. But who do you have? Seattle in this?
No, I had Seattle with Denver. I could put Seattle in with this one too.
I think Seattle. I think the Giants.
Okay.
And I think Seattle. I think the Giants, and I think if Dallas is at 5.5, and you're just teasing that through a half a point for overtime insurance.
Same with the Giant game, right? Aren't they at 5.5 somewhere?
I thought that was still at 6.
5.5 on FanDuel right now.
So what you could do is you could work the line in reverse for you, and you could find a 6-point line for the Giants and use that as a 6-point teaser because you're going to get value, right? Dropping 6 points, and you're not going to lose anything. Like what you lose going through 0, you would gain back by bumping it to 6. Anyway, I think I don't know. I'm on Jacksonville +9.5.
Okay.
I think there's something to Doug Peterson knowing Andy Reid. I think there's some inside info there. Granted, he didn't coach with Patrick Mahomes. I get that. But Andy Reid's also going through a bunch of stuff. I think 9.5 for a team like Kansas City, if you look at what they've done, they're a couple plays away from losing some games here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as dominant as everyone touts them to be.
No,
right?
They're not. They're explosive though.
Yep.
Right. So I like the tease.
Yeah.
I like the tease. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll take that with. I feel more comfortable with the Giants again in their matchup against the Texans than I do Dallas with Green Bay.
Well, okay. Here's what you could do. Here's what I think you could also do. If you wanted to do one other play on the teaser, I would take Minnesota at 3.5 or 4. And
I was going to say, I love Minnesota this week.
Yeah.
I mean, that UCL injury to Josh Allen is just so unknown.
They say
he's this morning,
he's
hour to hour.
How
That's
about
not
that?
Okay.
I've never heard of a player being described as hour to hour on an injury.
No, I don't know. You ain't think Joe Namath would be hour to hour? Come on.
Plus, they've got those injuries to that defensive backfield still.
Not
Poyer and they're banged up. I'd say I was thinking about the Chargers, and then I looked and saw how banged up that team is. The most injured team in the NFL year after year after year, and they're always like key guys.
No,
Keenan Allen came back from a bye week more injured than he was going into.
And Mike Williams is still out. And then they've got injuries on the defense from their game last week. So I stayed away from that.
That's a good play. I like that. I think initially people will look at that and say, oh, that's a misprint. 7? Are you kidding me? Look at the Chargers record. Absolutely not. Look, it's the same reason why I won't lay any points at all with the Giants. And I think this is just a money line play. The only way you get them to a money line is in a teaser to bring them down to 0. But I'm not going to lay more than a point really in a teaser with the Giants because I don't trust. And it's not like, Eagles versus Giants stuff. It's just same thing with Kansas City. Like I think we're at the point of the season now where you can go back and get a little more filler as far as why a team is a certain way. And especially if they're skating by and then they're compounded with injuries. So.
Yep.
Let me throw one more. Oh, go ahead.
Texas played a good defensive game last week, too. Yep. That's kind of what scares me, too. I know that we had talked about they give up the most rushing yards in the league at like 160 on average, but the game that they played against the Eagles was pretty impressive defensively. So I definitely was moved by that going into this week.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the way in which they've hung around in games has been a huge help for them, especially if you're betting with them or against them. All right, let me throw one more out at you. This one, I don't know where the public is. I'll wait for Harry. We'll get this. Oh, by the way, right? Why did you not jump on Minnesota at plus 7.5?
I don't know.
Sent you that text.
You're just going to keep beating me up about this hour by hour. You talk about Josh Allen being banged up. I feel bruised and battered from Aton over the last couple of days as to why I didn't jump in on the freaking Vikings.
The Bills are going to win by 15 right now, and I'm going to get a text from Harry at the 2-minute warning.
Will unleash.
You motherfucker! No. And trust me, I'm waiting for that, so I'm going to try to get him in while I can.
Right.
All right. I'm like a boxer who knows he's out. So he's
I will send out a verified tweet.
Yeah, exactly right. Right. Screenshots of the text. Why didn't you do it? I'll sound like a radio host. Admit who you are.
Right.
All right. So let's look at this here. Dan Campbell is 0-11-1 straight up. He has never won a game away from home.
Wow.
Okay. He's 2-4 straight up on the road as an interim coach in Miami. That's it.
Wow.
Now he's surrounded himself with fellow incompetence, right? He's gone like the way of if I don't know him, then he's not going to be here. Campbell's 1-5 straight up against the spread as a dog of 3 or 3.5 points. He's 2-11 straight up, 4-10 against the spread as a pick'em or as a dog of 4 or less. And that goes back to his time in Miami. Detroit's quarterback, Jared Goff, 1 TD to 7 turnovers in road games this year. Chicago, their guy, Justin Fields, who I have to admit, I destroyed this kid, said, get his ass out of the NFL. He's doing everything he can to survive and then some, and he's doing enough. He's got 7 TDs and only 4 turnovers in home games. So Fields has as many touchdowns at home as Goff has turnovers on the road. All right. Now, to make it worse, Detroit's last 3 games, 6, 27, 15 point total. Chicago's last 3 games, 33, 29, 32. All of that means I'm under 48 because it's in Chicago.
Yep.
I'm laying the 3 with the Bears. I'm under 22.5 Detroit's team total. And I'll leave you with a little sprinkle here, Harry. Like a little Salt Bay here for you. Chicago's D/special teams to score a touchdown.
I like that.
There you go.
Yeah, I will tail that D in special teams. No doubt about it. Chicago, that Soldier Field is no place for a weak-armed quarterback. I'll tell you that. And it's a slow track. I love this play. I love the Bears, too. But I'm definitely taking the defense and special teams.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You could probably, after the Roquan Smith trade, too, it probably has even more value to it as well.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah, and I mean, right, they traded 2 guys that were pretty integral when healthy on the field, and especially after Smith, because
Quinn and Smith.
Did he play?
Yeah,
did Smith play a week after Quinn? Or
Yes, because he was almost crying at the pregame press conference, leading into that game.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. On the way, I know, Harry. Let's hit some college.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to any NBA before we get out of here.
I thought about your TCU game
outright.
Outright. You like Texas Christian?
Outright.
You do.
Oh, I'll give it. Oh, by the way, I have the most ridiculous trend you have ever heard of before in the history of trends, and it has to do with Clemson. But to answer your question, we have yes, I am on TCU outright.
Okay, well, I'm on the other side.
200.
I'm on the other side in a teaser. I took Texas down to 1.5.
Okay, so basically win it.
I took Tennessee down to 14. And the reason I took Tennessee, I thought about you because you were talking about Tennessee the other day. And I was just like, well, you know what? After a loss like that could be devastating to a team, and then they come out flat and all that stuff. You know what? Tennessee is right on the outside looking in of this top 4 still with that loss. So they know they're still in it. So I think you're going to get a tremendous effort out of them in front of their home crowd against Missouri. And I expect them to spank Missouri, but I'll take them down to 14. The other side of it was TCU. They've been squeaking by in a lot of these games. Granted, they win the games. In fact, they're 7-1-1 ATS under Sonny Dykes this season. Been a really good team. They're now in the top 4. Everybody looking at them right now. I think this is when they step up and get whacked.
So the big thing about Texas is, what does this year mean versus history, right? Because we've seen either a disappointing season or we've seen a season with any promise turn disappointing, right?
Well, they had injuries at the quarterback. I mean, this team would have beaten the crap out of Alabama.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. But I think that over recent this year is where you would start to maybe drum up a conversation to buck trends, because the trends 1-5 against the spread as Big 12 favorites of less than 7 for Texas. 2-7 ATS at home versus an undefeated conference foe. And you're right, TCU is squeaking by all means. 9-0 for the first time since 2010, right? 13-0 season that we know, where they ended number 2 overall. I don't know. I'm looking at this. I think TCU is royally disrespected inside the numbers, inside the stats.
Yeah, they are. And Vegas doesn't respect them.
No. And look, let's come back to this, because I think here's the thing. Bottom line is, this is must-watch television.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
You have to watch this football game. And yeah, you and I are both on Tennessee. Absolutely. There.
And UCF, the UCF Tulane game at 3:30 is a must-watch game for me, at least.
For you. Absolutely. Let's see here. So I jumped TCU plus 200, Arkansas plus 137. All right. Love Arkansas on the money line here. I took touchdown Alabama. Minus 12.
Okay.
Look, it was 11.5. That's fine. I found it on a book where I just have the most money in there, and I figured, you know what? It's not smart, but I'll just bet it. That's fine.
Okay.
Minus 12 for Alabama. Really like Alabama in this spot, bounce back spot, as we've seen. And then the last one is Clemson. Now, I bet Clemson ahead of time.
Okay.
So my question to you two is, should I be concerned when you see a trend like this? Okay. Now, this is ridiculous. Somebody sent this to me on one of the Odd Shopper shows I do. Apparently, this came from Mark Lawrence. And Mark Lawrence,
he's good.
Yeah, he's one of the sharpest guys out there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read it verbatim. play against any college football home favorite of more than 4 points from game 9 out, coming off its first loss of the season, as a favorite of 4 or more points if they are off a double-digit ATS loss and are facing a team who allows 20.1 or fewer points per game. This trend,
wow,
since 1982, is 11-0, and it goes against Clemson this weekend. Now,
that's a crazy trend.
That is the most ridiculous pile of steaming shit you have ever seen. And if Clemson doesn't cover this game, it is not because of that trend.
Plus, there's only 11 opportunities here.
I was going to say, you went back to the
years.
80s.
It's 40 years.
You're pulling back 11 games.
I was in high school when that trend started.
I wasn't even a thought.
Nope. Awful. Awful. All right. What else you guys got on the way out here?
Honestly, I was all over Arkansas, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I think the hype around LSU was a little not real. I think just they squeaked by these past few weeks. And honestly, I'm not convinced in the whole Brian Kelly scheme that they got over there. And I think Arkansas is really gritty defensively. And they're kind of sneaking under the radar as one of those teams who can upset a lot of these ranked teams right now.
Watch out.
Harry was all over LSU, and rightfully so. I think in those circumstances, but you're not an alum. You're not tied to LSU every week.
No, I'm not.
You have to admit that this is a really good spot for Arkansas.
It is. After that big win last week, no doubt. But just remember, October is for pretenders. November is for contenders. All right?
Okay. You get that from Lee Corso?
No, I got that from Brian Kelly. I took 2 homer plays, and one is a futures because of all this Trey Turner nonsense. I took the Phillies to win the World Series next year at plus 1,500 this morning on DraftKings. And there's a college basketball game tonight at Temple Villanova, and nobody played worse in the second half than the Owls on Monday night against Wagner. They lost to Wagner outright. This line is short. Yep. It's plus 5.5. I took Temple on the money line at plus 200. I think they have a shot to win the freaking game. And that would totally wipe the Wagner loss off the face of the earth.
Completely. And Villanova is susceptible.
Yes, they are.
Are they not?
Yeah, they didn't cover against LaSalle. I won that half of that parlay last week, but I agree. It's going to be an interesting one tonight. It's on ESPNU, I believe.
It is. Yeah. I like that. It's a good call right there. I bet that too. I looked at that and I thought I was surprised. I thought it would be maybe a little bit longer there, but yeah, money line 200. It's dropped a little bit. So depending on where you can get it, you might have missed the boat there. By all means, love that. Honestly, if you just look like no college football. I did put together something a little sneaky here.
USC is going to win by 50 tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. I went all unders. All right. So this is a quick little 3-leg parlay here for you. I just went under their totals. So it's under Morant, 2.5 threes, under Cat, 2.5 threes. And under Julius Randle, 2.5 threes. And that's a 3-leg parlay at plus 274 on FanDuel. So no problem.
And just to explain to my mom, Morant is Ja Morant in the NBA and Cat is Karl Anthony Towns in the NBA.
Yes.
She'll be like, what is Eitan's talking about?
Correct.
Sticking in NBA, I'm going over to my New York Knicks, and there's only been one guy that we could rely on so far this season, and that is our acquisition, Jalen Brunson, the $25 million man. He's the only guy on this team that's consistently showing effort on both sides of the ball. And for that being said, I'm going to go over 26.5 points and assists today. He gets this line relatively easily because I think he could get this alone in a high-scoring game. He puts up 20-plus relatively easily, and he's the main focal point diming up all of his teammates. So going up against a team like the Pistons tonight with a rookie backcourt, I think that he's going to be able to take advantage of that and get an easy 26.5 points and assists.
Okay.
Where can I get him for a double-double? Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, against Jaden Ivey. I like that matchup a lot.
Look, he's dipped a little bit. The only reason is because this was that 650 first week or so of the season, and he had a really good opportunity in one game, and It's dipped since, but I still like that, plus 350. You mentioned Ivy going up against a beatable backcourt here, and you're right. Like, absolutely, plus 350. That's a playable number, man.
I also liked SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, over for the Thunder tonight. Over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's on a rampage right now. And I think that has to do with a little bit being that he's disgruntled in Oklahoma City. They lose a lot of games. And it's tough out there. Exactly.
I'm disgruntled about Oklahoma City, and I'm not even there.
Exactly. So against a team like the Raptors, who don't really have an identity, they rely on everybody to have an individual role. The Thunder know that SGA is their guy. So I'm going to him for over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists tonight.
Wow.
Well, I have to say real quick, I'm going to leave you with one more college game, but real quick, I know we're going a little long here, but Harry doesn't seem to mind. So you're having fun. It's nice. So here's the thing. I cannot bet on the Sixers moving forward right now. Like I won a pretty good amount of money the first stretch on a couple of same game parlays, 3 different same game parlays, including this, 43-1. Like it was a beautiful thing. But Tyrese Maxey is being just held back for whatever reason, and that's unbettable now. I don't know what the offense looks like without James Harden. I'm not touching Joel Embiid props because they're either super sharp or they're super juiced. And that leaves, Tobias Harris or DeAnthony Melton? Like, I don't know. The only thing that I think might be bettable until James Harden returns is if you can find, like, George Niang 3 props. And even then, you're betting on a guy coming off the bench, and there's a reason because he's volatile.
Right.
Unbettable. I don't touch him anymore.
Wow. I am totally disinterested with that squad.
Yeah, I ripped him in Philly Voice today.
Did you?
So, yeah.
Good.
They're boring.
They're
boring basketball. This is a team that has aspirations of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're telling us, the season starts now. You know who could say that? Steph Curry. Klay Thompson can come and say to me, hey, man, Kawhi Leonard, of all people, who's missed the last 10 seasons, has won at least. You make it out of the second round first before you tell me when the season starts.
Yeah.
Please.
Good point.
Please. All right, real quick on the way out. I think the only reason why this line is so low is because the game is being played on an aircraft carrier. And if anybody's ever been playing, any type of sport that requires the ball to go up in the air outside, wind, what have you.
Is this Gonzaga, Michigan State?
I destroyed this. I took Gonzaga 10.5. I think you should too.
Michigan State isn't very good.
Awful. It's 11.5. I destroyed this. I put a unit and a half on this one. This is a 20-point beatdown inside a gym.
Some guy from France or Australia will probably go for 30 for Gonzaga.
Just watch. All right, we'll see you guys Monday. Thanks again for hanging. Thumbs up, subscribe on the way out. For Jericho Mays, I'm Eitan. See you.